What's up, everybody? I'm back with a new movie review, and this one's gonna be like a short, little fun one. Nice little feel good type of movie. Angels in the Outfield, which is like a remake of like a 50s film, but this one I'm pretty sure that most people are familiar with the 1994 version starring Christopher Lloyd. And surprisingly, it's such a star studded cast that it's always fun to watch older films with certain stars that you didn't know was going to be mega stars uh, yet, but it's always fun to see that stuff. It's kind of like watching like Channing Tatum in like a Step Up movie. It's like, oh wow, this dude's gonna be a big deal. Uh, or no, or even better example, Vin Diesel in Saving Private Ryan. Like you didn't know this guy was gonna be like a mega action star down the line. But anyway, before I continue, please do me a huge favor and like this video. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Like, are you guys like big fans of this film growing up? Because I remember watching this as a kid to death. You know, rewinding my VHS tape because I love watching this as a kid, and it's fun to revisit it. You know, as an adult, see how much it still holds up in my adult thoughts on this film. But anyway, this is directed by William Deere, starring Danny Glover as George Knox, uh, a California Angels manager, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as young kid Roger, Brenda Fricker as Maggie Nelson, the foster mom. You might remember her as the creepy old lady with the pigeons in Home Alone 2. We got Tony Danza as Mel Clark, the Angels pitcher, Christopher Lloyd as Al, the Angel, Ben Johnson as Hank Murphy, the owner of the Angels, J.O. Sanders as Ranch Wilder, the sportscaster. We got Milton Davis Jr. as JP. I guess this is the only time he ever acted in anything because I always wondered whatever happened to this kid. But I guess he just never wanted to be an actor. This is fine. It tends to happen with young actors sometimes. Tyler Negron as David Matagnone, the team assistant. Tony Longo as Triscott Mesmer, the Angels catcher. Neil McDonough as Whit Bass. You might remember him if you watched like the Green Arrow TV show. He was one of the bad guys in like season 2, 3, or 4, one of those. Uh, Adrian Brody as Danny Hammerling, the utility player. Matthew McConaughey as Ben Williams, the outfielder. So yeah, it was a fun star-studded cast. So Roger, this young foster kid, and his friend JP are living with this temporary foster home, and they spend their time sneaking to watch the Angels play at the stadium. And of course, we get to see like they're a terrible team. And of course, George Knox is like, it's kind of like the way Danny Glover plays it. It's kind of like watching like the angry police captain because he's always screaming at the top of his head and like you know shouting all this stuff. It's like doesn't like these players because he thinks they're awful, and for the most part he's right, but he just you know doesn't know how to make this team great. And he just wants to just trade them all, which he can't trade them all. Is can't trade an entire team. Uh, uh, so we see Roger and his situation where his mom passed away, and for a while his father was pretty much looking after him, but he just can't seem to get his stuff together, so he ends up putting him temporarily into foster care. But as a kid, like I wasn't fully aware until like the third act breakup kind of situation. But he asked his dad, like, when are we gonna be a family again? And didn't realize it was sarcasm at the time, but he says when the Angels win the pennant. So Roger took that literally. And so later that night, he ends up praying to God that, you know, if he can, you know, get the Angels to win a little so he can hopefully, you be a family with his father again. So next day, Roger and JP managed to get some uh, tickets to the Angels baseball game. So as they're watching, Roger noticed that an angel came out of the sky and helped Matthew McConaughey's player in order to catch one of the balls. And it seemed like to everybody else, he seemed like he's floating in air and managed to catch the ball. And I love the sound of the sound, not soundtrack, but like the musical scores used with this movie, especially when like the angels come in. It's very angelic and mystical, very orchestra type of thing, which is kind of fitting for angels. But other than Christopher Lloyd, I don't. I mean, as a kid, is fine. Is good for his time, but it's just like the look of the angels seems almost like the effects look not even cartoony. They seem like off. Like they only spend whatever amount of budget they can just to make it look, not even to look good. But it just, and you see them briefly. It's like look at the scene where the two angels high five each other and they briefly disappear. It's like they there for a split second. It's like, and it's like they disappear. And it's like, God, I do not care for that look. Looking back on it now, it's like, man, the effects don't look all that good. I guess it's good for his time, but it's just like, I don't know. And then there's certain digital effects. It seems like when a moment where Roger's looking into the clouds, and it looks so choppy. And it's like, how is it that you, as a kid, you probably won't notice, but I'm pretty sure anybody with some sense can look at that moment and it's like, okay, you could not splurge on a little bit of money for, or just get some effects of clouds and insert them. And you don't even really need to spend any money for that. But it's kind of wild that you allow that to pass, even for 1994 standards. Anyway, so he meets Al, who says he's answering their prayers, but he's the angels are here to help. So JP won like this little raffle to take a picture with the Angels coach, but he hands it to Roger, who, because he doesn't like he doesn't like I guess he's kind of an introvert. He doesn't like large crowds and he's very shy. So while Roger's getting his picture taken with Knox, he just fully, was honest and say like, you know, the angels helped. And of course, and Knox doesn't believe him, and Roger's like, look, talk with your two players. They will explain. Ask them because they can probably explain something that was weird out there. So he goes to talk with them, and and they said it's like they felt something. It's hard for them to explain, but something was like almost like moving them. Something was like steering them. It's like it was like something out there they couldn't really fully articulate, but it was kind of weird occurrences. Um, so Knox then decides to uh, bring Roger and JP along as kind of like good luck charms. He figures, okay, he doesn't fully buy it, but he figures like he might as well be like a good luck charm. So uh, Roger had to sit down with Al, who he can see, explains that, look, I didn't have time to explain last time, but I need to explain to you now because I already know you told the coach and your best friend, and that's fine, but don't tell anybody else. We don't like attention, which, you know, like I'm not like super religious, but it's one of those things where theologians bring up that, angels don't like the shine put on them because what they do is through God and he should get all the praise kind of situation. Uh, and I guess I want to say they have some kind of theologian or religious person on set to uh, make it true to angels or anything like that. But I just can't help but put one to one to that, where it would make sense that angels rather not get the ultimate praise because you pray to God, you don't pray to them, and God works through them and He sends them by because they're the extension of Him. So they wouldn't want like that level of attention because, as Al puts it, they're a fickle group. They come and go and go. They come and go and go and come. Blah blah blah. Even though, and this line always stuck with me as a kid because I thought it was always a great line. Even though you can't see us, we're always watching. And I don't know. It's this way that Christopher Lloyd said it. It always like stuck with me. And it's like very mystical and like ethereal. It's like, it's kind of you want to reach out and it's like it gives you some kind of sense of warmth to that. It's like angels inherently are good. Even though you can't see them, they're always watching. You could look at it as kind of creepy, but I advise you not to look up the real depiction of what angels really look like, because if you want to get some sleep, I advise you not to look up the actual depictions of what angels would look like. It's kind of creepy. Anyway, so Roger is pretty much there to notify Knox that whenever he sees an angel, that kind of gives him the signal to like, okay, put in that player, like Hemmeling, where this lady angel is rubbing his shoulders, and it's like, okay, you gotta put him in play. And Knox was hesitant at first because he didn't want to substitute his worst player for his best player. Substitute his best player for his worst player. But, Roger says, like, if you put him in, he will be awesome. So it's like, okay. He put him Hemmeling, and thanks to the Angel slowing down the opposing pitcher's baseball, put it close enough for Hemmeling to hit it, and Al's mess around with the ball so the opposing team can't pick it up right away as Hemmeling is running through all the bases to get all the way home. So uh, they've just been on like a winning streak over and over and over again. Um, uh, uh, but then we see a moment where uh, Tony Danza's character Mel Clark, who has animosity towards uh, Knox because he, has been playing him, and he's just waiting for because he's still under contract, so he can't really get rid of him. So he's pretty much just put him in reserve, too much to Mel's chagrin. So because he was on the injured list, even though he should be fine, but uh, uh, but we see like the female angel again, and it's like, okay, put him in, and it's kind of like a way for these two to have some kind of reconciliation, but without being overt about it, which is fine, because it's typically how like men deal with like the situation. You don't really have to usually. I don't want to say all the time, but usually just like yeah, yeah. Like I'm taking off the angels list and I'm putting you in. Like yeah, it's kind of like kind of like let bygones be bygones kind of situation. Like I trust this kid, and I see that, you know, you I appreciate you kind of situation. So Mel's putting is pitching, and thanks to Fat Angel using his wings, kind of like give that pitch a boost, and it kind of also, in a way, I guess, boost his confidence a bit. So he just, striking everybody out like, wow, 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 just over and over again, just like giving like that, you know, uh, like the baseball some the some like some steam behind it. Uh, so uh, eventually, uh, while things are going good, and Knox, had like a newfound faith in his team, and really, you know, having some camaraderie with the kids. Um, uh, he spends time with the neighborhood kids. Playing baseball with the neighborhood kids. It's really nice and sweet. I still remember like that little kid. Uh, uh, it's like when I tell you to run home, you run home. Okay. And it's like, go ahead, run home, run home. It's like, run home, run home. So it's like, where are you going? Well, you told him to run home. So that always stuck with me. That was really funny. Um, uh, but then, you know, things back at the foster home is, uh, it's taking a turn. You know, as an adult, you see it's for the better, but as a kid, you seem kind of might look at it as kind of sad. And there's this other foster kid named Miguel, which honestly I never really cared for that kid. He's such a nothing person. You take him out, doesn't really affect anything. Uh, you would think like he probably would have added something to this beyond just being like a dick. Uh, but I think this is a perfect time to bring up. I think Miguel and JP is probably in my personal opinion, the weakest links of this entire film. And I can see some level of point to JP because you need to have some kind of confidant, best friend character for the little kid, Roger. But they don't give nothing for JP outside his little corny line. It could happen, but he could have just let that for Roger to be his little line. Because JP is so annoying. It's just like it doesn't have like I'm like, you're not too little to understand that this guy's picking on you. And then all of a sudden get all sad after you did wish to have like him to have a like a family, which he eventually got adopted. And uh, like, I really like Mikhail. Like, shut up. It's like, God. It's like, I know he's a little kid. He doesn't know any better, but it's like, he is so annoying. And he's the one that blabbed to, like, Ranch Riley, who has animosity towards Knox because of their past, because it was him that cost, like, Knox his baseball career as a player back in the day. Uh, uh, but anyway, Roger and Maggie had to go to the courthouse uh, uh, for a hearing with his father. And of course, it happened to be on the day when the Angels are playing, but he couldn't make it. And since Roger's the only one who can see these Angels, he wouldn't know, Knox nor JP would know which players to play. But you would think they could afford to, lose a one lousy game, because they're pretty much clinched to go to the World Series at that point. But JP gets all mopey, like, I tried, man. It's just like, I understand. He wants to see Angel so bad, and he wants to be useful and stuff like that. But oh God, it's just like so cringe, and it's like the kid really should. I don't know. They need to give this kid better material to work with, or just not make a character like this. Period. But he's the one that inadvertently blabbed to Ranch about the whole Angels situation and Knox, believing in them, and so Ranch could try to destroy Knox's career permanently, which is like a petty bitch move. But back to Roger, who's at the courthouse, and the father is pretty much like giving up complete custody of his kid because he just doesn't see himself as like a fit parent. So he figures this is the best thing he could do for him. And it's sad because the fact that, look, most people can understand if you're not in a particular situation to care for a kid. In most cases, people would be, do whatever they can to like fight to get their kid. But for the sake of the argument, say he figured he wouldn't be able to properly raise Roger in like a stable environment. You just walked out of that courtroom without giving this kid a proper explanation. This kid deserves you to sit down with him for like at least an hour, something like that, even before the court proceedings. Matter of fact, the judge, the people, the lawyers involved, if there's lawyers involved, all the people who are there that need to be there, doesn't bother to include the kid in the court proceedings. Have them go on the stand and ask the kid, okay, what do you want? How do you feel about this? What are your thoughts? Because he's clearly old enough to have those type of conversations. That always sat wrong with me. The fact that you couldn't at least bring the kid in to at least give his point of view about what he would like, what his thoughts, and at least have the father, before a verdict is passed, sit down with the kid to explain what will be happening. This is just complete dick move by all parties involved except for Maggie. So now, like, Knox, sitting down with Roger, explains, have a heart to heart with him about how, his father wasn't there for him and his brothers. So, he fully, understands the whole situation. It's probably why he had like his own issues. Because, those kind of things in his childhood was not resolved, so he doesn't want Roger growing up with like him. Um, so now that Ranch blab to the press about the whole situation, about the source, about Knox believing in real angels. Now Murphy, the manager, is threatening Knox's position as the manager or the coach. It's just like, okay, and now they got to go through this whole news outlet, or at least conference, and of course you got like Maggie, Roger, and the team sticking up for Knox. And looking back on it as an adult, you look at it and it's like, okay, putting aside people's religious beliefs, their sports teams, specifically baseball teams, are already superstitious. Some people bring lucky rabbit's foot. Some people have like certain clothing they don't wash because they think it's good luck. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched for a team really believing angels out there helping them win games. And if you put the religious aspects back into it, so what? So what? They actually believe in angels. It's like, that's such a nothing burger. Do you really need to go through a whole conference threatening a guy's livelihood because he actually believes there's actual angels helping his team win? So what? That part seemed like so like a hacky way to cause like some turmoil. But anyway, they all stick up for Knox and he keeps his job, but they're at the playoffs, playing against the Chicago White Sox, my team. But Al shows up to Roger, explains that Angels can't interfere with like championships because that will be against the rules. Even though you've been helping them essentially cheat through all the other teams, but I guess because it's not championships, it doesn't really count. But you got them to this far, so now they got to do things on their own. But he only came by to speak with Roger one last time and check up on Mel Clark because Mel, within like a few months, will be passing away because of cancer and will become an angel like them. And which is a sad moment, as it does play very well, but they don't really set it up all that well. You see him like, I guess you see him smoking every once in a while and coughing, but I don't know. It seems like, I don't know. They could have been highlighted a little bit better, like somebody see like a medical thing or him going to the doctors. Maybe there's some deleted scenes. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It seems like a out of left field, no pun intended, of some kind of like sad moment. But he gives Roger one last little sign off, like, even though you can't see us, we're always watching. So is a clinch match, but now it's down to Mel Clark, who's having a tough go with his pitching, and with some encouragement from Roger, JP, the team, and the California Angels fans doing this whole shtick with like Roger flapping his wings as a signal, as an angel is with them, and so this kind of gives Mel the encouragement as he gives a pitch. This big bruiser of a White Sox player hits it, but Mel managed to catch it in nick of time, giving him the out, and they win the pennant. And they all head home, and as Knox announces that the fact that he's officially adopting Roger and JP, and JP looks out the window. He finally get to see Al, the angel, as his little wish. And the movie ends with Al flying to the sky and into the night sky, and that was pretty much Angels in the Outfield. It's a fun, charming family film. And it did solid at the box office back in the day, but like I said, it's like the CG. I want to say I don't know if they even call it CGI, but just digital effects or whatever. Uh, Either way, they were a little choppy, not all that spectacular. But like I said, it's very charming. It's fun, fun for the family. It's a good family film. I highly recommend it, for that at the very least. Uh, but it's still fun to rewatch after all these years. It's one of those things I grew up with, so I can't really hold anything too negative against it. Got a warm place in my heart. But anyway, if you've seen Angels in the Outfield, let me know what you guys think. Do you remember it at all? And is there certain things I might have neglected to mention that you want to bring up? You can leave a comments below. And I will see you guys next time. I think I'll start watching the Harry Potter films because I always wanted to rewatch them for around Halloween, but there's already too much stuff I got to review for Halloween, at least the month of October as it is. So I might as well just review them now, include them into the list of Halloween type of films so I can still count them. But in any case, I'm not going to watch Fantastic Beasts stuff because I already knew they're crap, and there's one things about the Harry Potter stuff I can't get with. But in any case, I will see you guys next time. Take care. Have a great weekend.